What's going on, everybody? This is Ecast, the producer, once again here at NAMM 2025, and we are here with none and only but
Thomas Barefoot Sounds.
from Barefoot Sounds. And y'all know, everybody that's following the channel, that Barefoot has become part of the family in the studio with the Footprints 02, and our mixes have changed, our productivity level has changed, but they also got something brand new. Tell us about this.
This is the center channel 03. So last year we came out with the Footprint 03, which kind of been a big hit, the most affordable Barefoot ever, and kind of made a little bit of a very tiny little stir up because it was our first ported speaker as well.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have been buying those, especially for surround setups, multi-channel. And kind of pairing them usually maybe like with a set of O2s, but we thought it was important that we have something in the same price range, same form factor as the O3 to complement it for center channel. So this year we came out with the center channel O3C, same amplifier as the O3. Really mostly for aesthetic reasons. We wanted it to be symmetrical. The O3, even though it has a left and right asymmetrical speakers, has extremely even horizontal dispersion. So it was really more for aesthetics to make it for this format.
For those that don't really understand the technology of this, how do you describe it in the best words?
So I mean, there's so many aspects of it. So like for example, your speakers. So you said you had the O2s.
The O2s,
right?
yes.
So one of the features of most Barefoots is the dual side firing subwoofers.
Correct.
Dual floors. That was actually. How much of the story you want me to tell?
You go for it.
So when I first got into this, I was a hobbyist. I was really not a studio guy at all. And I come to learn that people are tracking and mixing on what seemed to me to be just glorified bookshelf speakers.
Right.
And then at the end of the process, they send it to the mastering engineer who's got the real deal tower, super hi-fi speakers. And that seemed absurd to me. It's actually almost backwards, because the person that's the closest to the consumer, who typically does not have very fancy speakers,
correct,
is the mastering engineer. You know what I'm saying? So if
that's
anything,
crazy.
It almost seemed like it was backwards, but really what I thought is everybody in the whole chain should be hearing the same thing.
Right.
So what I wanted to do was take essentially a set of mastering towers and squash them down into a form factor that would work on a console. So part of that is like, I need big speakers. I want to move a lot of air. Moving a lot of air is not only important for just getting loud, but it's about dynamic range, avoiding dynamic compression. And so where do I put those speakers?
Right.
Well, since the low frequencies are essentially omnidirectional anyway, the wavelengths are very long, much bigger than the actual dimensions of the speakers and the cabinets, they radiate out, and it doesn't really matter where they are sitting on the speaker. So I could take them and I could move those speakers from the front to the sides.
Right.
Now that I got them on the sides, I can actually lock the motors of the speakers together. And what that does is Newton's third law of motion. For action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You push, that thing pushes.
It's going to push it back.
And that's the same way with the speaker. The motor of the speaker is pushing on the cone. The cone pushes back on the motor. The motor is attached to the frame of the speaker, which is attached to the cabinet. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to vibrate the cone, you want all the sound just coming from the cone. But ultimately, it's going to vibrate the cabinet too. And that's not good. That's going to color the sound. So what we do is we turn the speakers on the subwoofers on their sides. We lock them together, and it's basically now it's kind of like if you held two weights and you put them out in either direction. You push out, they both push back in.
Right.
The forces cancel. You pull, they pull in opposite directions. The forces cancel.
There's another special thing about these monitors, and it's that it's just not just one monitor. It's multiple one monitors in just one with a special technology.
Right, we call it NEAM. So I'm sorry for my goofy acronyms.
No, I love it.
But so we gotta have fun with these names. Like, what do I name something? I gotta come up with a dumb name. But it's a multi-emphasis monitor emulation. We actually really do emulate. So it's a full emulation. It's not just an EQ. There's dynamic compression. Depending on the model, it can get more sophisticated. Some of them we actually put distortion, we add distortion into the signal. But that came about. The first generation of the MM27s, that's kind of our flagship speaker, got very popular, and I would still see NS10s parked up on the side.
Everywhere, right?
And I just hated that. So the idea was like, well, you know, an NS10 can't do what a Barefoot can do.
Correct.
A Barefoot can certainly, I hate to say it, there's cool qualities about the NS10, but in a certain sense, I could say I could dumb down
of course,
to behave that way. And so when we came out with the second generation of MM27s, I put this emulation feature in there so that it emulates the classic speakers with the white cones and the little cube speakers. But I think that actually with emulation, one of the unsung heroes is the hi-fi mode.
Oh, I love it.
And that is not actually, it's not emulating any speaker in particular. It's taking our typically sealed box, very fast transient, low end response, and it kind of creates more like a port, like a gloomy kind of ported sound, a little bumped up in the low end, sparkly on the highs. And I think for people who are producing music, you're writing, maybe you have that decision you want to make of like, do I want a pair of speakers that's a little bit more analytical? Or do I want a pair of speakers that's more vibrant? Well, with the mean and the hi-fi setting, you
got all of them.
Yeah, you can if you're writing and you just want to feel it, you can turn it into hi-fi mode, and then you got your thing going. Now you want to get a little bit more serious and set levels and kind of do your mixing. And switch over to the flat mode, which is the kind of way they're intended to be.
You gotta love these speakers, to be honest. To me, I actually did some deep research. Shout out Sweetwater that they actually did help me out, and they recommended this for this type of music. And I guess I kind of heard that it's gaining a lot of popularity in the urban hip hop, R&B, hip hop community.
Yeah.
With the O3s. How do you feel about that?
I love it. People can probably tell I love bass.
Yeah, I love it too.
Electronic music, I kind of came out of that world. So
I'm from Puerto Rico, so I do reggaeton. A lot of the reggaeton blast through those speakers like nothing, and it sounds wonderful every time.
Yeah.
Every time. So
yeah, the O3s, even though they're ported, to me, when we were trying, Barefoot's, even though I feel like you get a lot for your money, they're expensive speakers, no doubt. And so we've always, it's not like I want these to be some, pie in the sky boutique thing.
Of course.
Unattainable. I want to try to make more affordable speakers and get them in the hands of people, but also I don't want to compromise.
Right.
And so, but life is a set of compromises, and so to me, the ports in the O3 is a compromise, but there is a spectrum of compromise that one can do, And so my goal with the O3s and their ported system was to try to approach the kind of fast transient, tight bass response that you get from our sealed box speakers as closely as possible. With the O3. So if you notice, even though they're quite compact speakers, they're relatively big compared to some other speakers, recorded speakers that you see, and that is actually the way that they're tuned, the size of the port, all these kind of things that can give faster transients, rather than just trying to sort of maximize like as deep a bass as you can get in a smaller box. Which would the compromise there would be poor impulse response, poor tolerance.
So are these available now?
These will actually be available in mid-February, I want to say. And the other thing I want to say too is the thing that kind of sets the O3 and the O3C and this price point especially apart is that it is a full three-way system. And the cool thing about a three-way, or let's say the difficulty of building a two-way system is you want a relatively big woofer, right? Because you want to reach down low, but a woofer starts to break up, kind of in the upper mid-range,
Oh, yes.
So like this woofer wants to break up around 6 or 7 kilohertz. That's to me very dangerously close to the crossover between what would be the crossover between the tweeter and the woofer. So adding in a mid-range in there allows this crossover to be much lower, completely takes it away from its breakup modes. It's an aluminum cone, works as a perfect piston in its frequency range. That crosses over to this mid-range, which is also an aluminum cone, works within its range like a perfect piston. There's no flex to the cone.
Correct.
Perfect diaphragm, pushing air, and then crosses over to the tweeter.
The crossover points are immaculate, to be honest. I can actually notice every decision that I make to be impactful immediately with the speakers. So that's a great job done there, man. And yo, well, you already know, coming in February, you said, right?
Yes.
The new Barefoot. So go check him out, and yo, we'll see you on the next one, okay?